9 years ago, and one of my biggest wishes was that Gary Stern could come over once. Nobody brought got a complete layer, top layer of the complete Stern factory. Welcome everybody. Gary Stern, Seth Davis, co-owners, how do you say that? Yeah, owner, co-owner, founder.
He's the CEO.
He's
not an owner yet, but
we didn't say anything about it. Enjoy it. If you want to drink, go downstairs, go upstairs. Don't play pinball these 2 hours because we want to do a full Monty. People, welcome. Give them a warm applause. Thank you
We're gonna chat for a little while before LJ gets to go to work. Seth is our CEO. He's replaced me. He's smarter than I am. He has better questions than I do. Better educated than I am. You know, I'm a lawyer. He's an MBA. And understands what we're doing, where the game business is going. He has an undergraduate degree in information technology, that's computers, which I can't do anything with, which everybody will tell you. Jesse at our place, he spends half his day trying to fix stuff for me. And in accounting, and then worked for GE in the days when GE was a great company. It's still a good company, but it was the Cadillac of companies. Wharton Business School, a decade plus at Disney in games and streaming. He is a gamer, he knows games, he knows not just pinball, but he knows all kinds of games. And that's important to where pinball is going, which we'll talk about that. Also here, our CRO, John Biscaglia, Pat Powers, our head of tech service, been with us for as long as I can remember. Doug Scorn, our director of international sales. Doug, like me, is second generation in this business. He comes from, his family had a very successful Chicago distributorship, and then he was president of Wurlitzer Jukebox in America, all different kind of stuff that relates to what we're doing. And Lloyd you all know, because he's from here. And Lloyd's joined us recently, and so because we want, Europe is so important to us that we want to have feet on the ground, boots on the ground, so we can develop Europe further and further. All of these people, all 6 of us, are together going to tell you, no, back up. We need to tell you what we're doing, what Stern is. The Stern Pinball vision statement. Guys, please. To create compelling entertainment that inspires a lifetime of love of games, sparks passion, forges friendship, and connects people everywhere through fun, innovative, technologically advanced pinball games and experiences. We will end with that. Please pay attention to it, try and memorize it, because we're all going to read it together. I always do it that way. These guys will tell you. You notice it doesn't say manufacturing pinball in there. We are pinball manufacturers, but more important than that, we're game designers. We design games. We design fun. They're not heart-lung machines. They're fun. And that's what we have to do, is create fun. There's no point in manufacturing a game if nobody's going to have fun playing it. Now, we have a great new factory. We've got about 23,000 square meters of manufacturing space. It's the first time I've ever been in a game factory of any sort, video, pinball, whatever it is, that really looks like a modern factory, and it is. It's fully air-conditioned, high-tech, high ceilings, I'm sorry. It's just it's just fantastic. Those of you who come to Pinball Expo, we have a tour, of course. We look forward to seeing you all there. And if you haven't signed up for it, please do. If you have trouble, if they filled, somebody said they filled, I hope not, because we'll make sure that there's enough space for everybody to tour. We're going to do a little bit of history, just a little bit. That's my father, Sam Stern. That's my father, Sam Stern. That's me. This picture goes back, oh, don't tear the place up here. Goes back a while. Sam started as a game operator. And how much time do I got with you all?
2 hours.
2 hours, oh good. Sam started, I can do that. Just, you know, somebody get the hook to pull me off when we're done. Sam started as a game operator in the 30s. He had a couple of friends of his, they were policemen. A couple of friends of his said, you should, you know, he's in the, maybe in his 20s, barely. They said, you should get a couple of games and put them, you know, out in this find a location, puts them in a drugstore on the counter. They were like the games you see down here, countertop, push shoot games with the pins in them and all that, pinball pins in them. So he puts 2 games there, comes back the next day, his 2 games are behind the counter. Somebody else's 2 games are there. He said to these 2 copper friends of his, what did you get me into? What, I bought these games, they're, you know, they got pushed aside, somebody else's games are there. And they said, not there, Sam, over there, not there. Those guys were over there, okay? So he put his games in the next drugstore. 10 at night he gets a phone call, one of the games is broken. That's it, I am done with this business. No more. I'm done. He goes running down there. It was broken. There were so many coins in it, the chute wouldn't push in anymore. And so that's how he stayed in the game business. And the family were game operators. Used to take my mom out on a date and stop at a spot and collect the jukebox. That was in the 30s, sometime in the 30s, 40s, early 40s, he became a game distributor, like Doug comes from. And that's because in those days people became game distributors to get games sooner and cheaper. Well, he concentrated on distributing. In 1947, he was selling pinball machines made by Harry Williams. Sam was a 37-year-old punk kid. I can say that because I'm 79. I wouldn't say that to his face, but he's been gone for a long time. He's been gone since 83, 84. Yeah. And he never got to see this company. He would have been so happy and proud with it. We started it in 86 after he had passed. Anyway, so he comes in to see Harry Williams, the great, we'll come back to it. Wait, back up a minute. Back up a minute. Not my father's pinball company. We'll talk about that later. That's one of the things that LJ is going to ask me. Got it? Don't forget that one. We'll talk about why it's not my father's pinball company. Let's go. So, that's Harry Williams. Mads was the sales guy. Sam comes in to see Harry, his supplier. 37-year-old punk kid. Harry was probably a 39-year-old punk kid. Sits behind 35-year-old punk kid. Sits behind Harry's desk, puts his feet up on the desk and says, why don't you sell me the company? Harry says, I'll have to think about that. He goes up in his airplane, flies around Chicago in a single-engine plane for 3 hours, came down and sold my father half of the business, half of the pinball company. And that's how we got into pinball manufacturing. Later, Sam bought Harry out, but Harry was always a consultant with us. It was 1 year my father went to Valley as executive vice president for pinball, and Harry went there too with us. And always together. Harry had 3 wives. 3 wives. No, not at the same time, but two of them died on the same day. I mean, the same day. You know, Raymond, they were all wild characters. What's the word I'm thinking of? I'll get back to it. Damon Runyon characters. It's American literature. Notice the white. Oh wait, back up. How do you like the white shoes? That's Harry. He was very dapper. He was a great dancer, by the way. Next one, we'll just show a little more of this stuff, and then we'll. Harry and his boat. Harry and his plane. This was the Starlight Room in the old Williams. That's where the executive dining room was. It's called the Starlight Room. Stars, the light fixtures, you can't tell were stars. I remember it well. The original factory was on Huron Street. This was not like a business like today. It wasn't a factory like we had. It was 6 stories, 6 floors. The first floor was Jack's holding up the second floor. The third floor was Jack's holding up the 4th floor. And the 5th floor was Jack's holding up the 6th floor. These weren't businesses that were structured like today. Let's do another one before maybe. This is Harry and Sam at the old Stern Electronics Chicago coin factory. I recognize it, looking at a drop target. This was a promo piece that the old Williams did years ago. And let's do the next one, see how many more of these we're going to do before we start. Harry, me, Sam, me. I don't know why I'm in it so much. Let's do another one. Some more. Oh wait, next one though. This gets interesting. This was the Stern Pinball Factory in the one that we moved out of 2 years ago. This big building is a data center. See, I didn't need that anyways. This big building's a data center. But Williams, before California Avenue, was on 4242 West Fillmore. That's the second Williams building after Huron. That's where we were then. It's a blighted neighborhood now. You can tell looking at this building, it's not particularly attractive. It was a little rough then. It was down the street from the Fillmore police station, and somehow batteries out of the cop cars, it got robbed out of the cop cars in those days. It was a little rough. The getaway car for a big Michigan Avenue jewel robbery came off our parking lot. Anyway, let's see what I got next. Okay, this is what a factory looked like in those days. 4242 West Fillmore. You see all the workers lined up. It looks similar and different today. You come by and see us and you'll see. Next one. This was when we were on Janus Avenue, where we almost started out. We started out in a temporary space before that, but we were in Melrose Park for years. Let's see what I got next. More of the factory. This is when we moved to Elk Grove, that building that we moved out of, which, by the way, the landlord, the big real estate company sold it to that data center next to us. They became our landlord. Then they wanted us to leave, and now our building was torn down, and a new building was being built there as a data center. They put fiber optic cables down all through the highway. What do we got next? Okay, I like this one, I'll tell you why. You see the reflection here, oh boy, upside down? This is actually not a game, it's a picture. It was a game, Williams game. It's a picture of artwork. It was an artist, and this art went for a couple $100,000 at Sotheby's. But when he was painting playfields for color, pictures of playfields, he picked up the reflection. That reflection of the back glass onto the playfield is not something new with our games, and we have glass, 9-layer glass, so forth. if you have a reflection problem. But this is an age-old problem with pinball. Next one. Let's see what I got next. Strike zone. I probably showed that. I did this once before. If you notice the rollover switches for bowling. Let's look for another one in here. Okay, I was showing a lot of the. This is how the games you all know used to look. But go again. Let's keep going. See if I get to what I wanted here. Space Mission was Williams that brought pinball back. It was an important game, ramps and so forth. Let's keep going. I'm looking for something in particular. All this fish. This was the first of the old Stern pinball machines, pinball by Stern. This was a calendar for the Chicago Coin did. And I looked at it and I said, that make nice back glass. And so that was our back glass. Go ahead and we'll do a couple. Okay. Memory lane, this is what I wanted to get to. Which, again, the same, this one was bowling, the same rollover switches there. And Joe Robbins of Valley called me and said, yeah, it should be memory lane. You shouldn't be building that game. It should be memory lane. They came out with strikes and spares. Do I have a picture of that next? I don't think so. Yes, they came out with strikes and spares at the same time, same basic lane. I said, you're criticizing my game, your game is the same thing. But that's something we really don't have in pinball anymore because we're in the home so much, we don't really have TNA with, as I'm saying that, I say that while I'm standing next to Elvira, but other than that, we really don't have TNA in pinball. In fact, George Pietro, he was very upset with me, of Play Mechanics, and of course there's no TNA in his game, but he said, you know, what happened to TNA in pinball? I said, you guys, we just don't have it anymore. Let's see if we'll look at a few more before we do a little discussion. See, same playfield. This is just some of the stuff from the old, wait, back up for a minute. These games, these games were all the Steve Kirk games. Steve Kirk, whose name wasn't Kirk, he just decided his name should be Kirk, but the Captain Kirk. But these are his games, which you all probably are familiar with. He was a great designer, just a little difficult to deal with. He called me and he said, we're talking, and he's living in his car. I said, I'll get you a hotel room. You gotta get out, I'll get you a hotel room. He said, I can't, I have cats. I said, that's right, you can take the cat to a hotel room. No, I have cats. How many cats do you have? I have double-digit cats. You have double-digit cats living in the car with him. Okay, what else we got here? This is Flight 2000. Now, Flight 2000, Harry Williams game. Harry was great. Harry's a great designer, although with my father and Harry, I pushed the boat out of the way once for Steve's, one of Steve's games. But Steve was really, he was really good in those days for what we were doing. It was very important to us. Flight 2000, a wide body. The problem, Harry taught me the problem with wide bodies is there's too much space. There's too much geometry. The ball floats back and forth. The exception is Orbiter sitting over there. The ball will float back and forth. It slows up. So you got to put a lot more stuff in the game. Yes, it makes it expensive, but it's also not as good a game. And there was Neil Falconer, a designer since passed in our business. Whenever somebody came out with wide bodies, he would freshen up his resume because he knew there was something wrong. Business was in trouble. Don't make wide bodies. It's a tennis court. The rules, it's supposed to be a particular size. The round playfields, the cocktail playfields, the wide body playfields, not as good. But you take this wide body playfield, it's still one of my favorite, with the ball walker on the left. And let's click here and see if I get there soon. Okay, here's the more of it. Gamatron. Okay. What Gamatron was, we two things about it. That was after Stern and before Stern. So we made it a conversion kit for pinball. The good thing is we took that playfield And instead of the ball walker, we used ejects, and one pop bumper. This game played so much better than Flight 2000 because it was an aero body. It just had such better action. It was great. The other thing that we proved, and I did that with Steve Kirk. The other thing that we proved is nobody listened. Nobody learned the lesson. What we proved is we made it as a conversion kit. There's no reason to convert a pinball. Trade it in and get a new pinball. We came out with this the same time Steve Ritchie had high speed. Well, who was going to convert their game, their whole Peanut Valley game, to this when they could trade it in and buy a high speed? And I'll tell you, Pinball 2K was a great engineering effort, fantastic. Our friend and our chief creative officer, George Gomez, very involved in it. No real marketing plan for it because the marketing people weren't involved. The idea was you move playfields from game to game and have multiple playfields. People try to do that now. Buy a good game, play it, trade it in, get another good game. I proved, I was the one so smart to try it. I proved it didn't work. The other problem with P2K is you didn't have a flat screen at the time, so when the first operator came to a French distributor to pick it up with his hatchback to put a game in it, found out it was a 2-car game. You couldn't carry that game with one car, so you couldn't take it to location. I think that's most of what I want to do here before I let you all ask me some questions. Let's see what we got here. Let's flip through some of the things we did. Photographic backglass, which Gauntlet started. Okay, not us, but we did a number of. LJ knows this. We did a number of photographic backglasses. This was a photograph. This is. That was our first. Okay. Who put this in here? That's Joe Camico. That's me. You notice I had more hair in here. I couldn't do that picture. But that was us. I think we've probably done enough of these. We can. Lethal Weapon 3. When we made that game, and I go to the French. And I said, we have Lethal Weapon 3. You should buy this game. I said, what? What is Lethal Weapon 3? I go over and go over and go over. You know, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon. L'arme fatale 3. The name of movie in America is not the same as in France. Oh, yeah, we want that game. You know? Okay, what else? That's back to there for a minute. Back up. So this is where Steve Ritchie decided that this was a copy of Terminator. 7-shot array, ramp, that simulated ramp over there. They actually sued me and Joe personally about it. And that went away. But that was the basis of one of the lawsuits. William sued us a number of times back in the day, at Day East when we were getting started. I'm going to give you one more little history and then we'll do some other stuff. Let's see if there's anything else we really want to do. Now I think we've done enough of old pinball here. I'll let you ask questions. But let me just give you a little history of the company that we are right now. We started as Day East Pinball. Same company, formed in '86 with money from Day East, a Japanese company. They were our investor. In '94, we sold the company from Day East to its shareholder Sega, and we renamed it Sega Pinball. Same company, just different owner of the company. In '99, I bought it from Sega and renamed it Stern Pinball, same company. So it's the same company been in existence since end of late '86. Those of you who think that Day East was a different company or Sega was a different company, same people, some of the same people, a lot of different people. we do happen to have right now some of our original people, our near original people. We have a lot of people that come from other companies, a few from Gottlieb. We have the best from everywhere. We have a lot of people from Williams, and we are often called Willie West because we're west of downtown Chicago. So we have many of the same people. Now you're going to ask me why it's not my father's pinball company.
I'm going to ask you exactly that, Gary. Why isn't it your father's pinball company?
I'm going to sit now. It's in, that's right, okay?
Oh, God. You're talking about, okay. He would like to serve you some herring there, he guessed.
Herring?
Herring? Herring. Yeah.
I happen to love herring. I love herring.
Ever had Dutch herring?
I don't know about Dutch herring. I've had a lot of herring, Norwegian herring, Jewish herring. Herring is herring. I love herring.
This is a typical Dutch.
Okay.
Dutch tradition, and we're very proud of it. People say it's raw, but it's not raw because it's salted. And it's been in the fridge, so it's safe to eat. And this herring has a very happy ending because it gets a massage from me. That's why it's extra soft. So, and I made it for you. Why do I wear a crown? Because I'm the Dutch herring queen and I like to wear a crown.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, you just spit it out.
Take one on yourself.
No, it's very healthy. En net als zo again. Beneden staan er nog meer als mensen. Zie je? That is to 79 years ago having tasted that. You're the best pinball machine and the
I will finish it later. John, it's vegan. You can eat it. It's vegan. It's vegan. Okay. Thank you. That was great. Yeah, it's not the first country that you've insulted.
I'm going to just do a quick introduction of how the questions will run here, real quick. By the way, I'll introduce myself. My name is LJ Green. I live here in the Netherlands for the last 15 years. I started my work career in Chicago in pinball. And you're the one guy I didn't work for. I worked for Williams Valley, and I also worked for Gottlieb in the 90s, so in the heyday. I guess we were suing you one night.
Gottlieb didn't sue me. Gil and I got along.
You guys got along.
Yeah.
So, and then met Gerard, and I feel super at home because this wonderful museum is 20 minutes from my house, so it's really fabulous to see this. Congratulations to you for bringing this. It's big for Americans to see something like this sitting in the middle of Rotterdam and celebrating heritage like what your dad started. So, I'm going to do the commercial questions. Game questions are going to come from Gerard. I guess that's how we're going to split it up to start with. But one thing I just want to ask you, you just told the story here. You came close to going bankrupt a couple of times, did you?
A couple times. Pinball manufacture is not for the faint of heart. You have to love what you're doing. In particular, the Lehman Brothers recession in 2008 wasn't a happy time, and for many businesses. Tenacity tenacity is the word that comes to mind. You just stay with it. I needed a job. Where was it going to go? There's not a lot of jobs for pinball presidents. So my partner, Dave Peterson, was a client of my lawyer and small shareholder, David Schoenberg. And David said to him that this company, I know you'd be interested in. And said, man, pinball, I don't know. About 3 months later, David said to Dave, well, you know, I own part of the company. Well, why don't you tell me that? I'll go take a look. And it took Dave a little while to look around. Dave takes a while to study things. He had worked on Harley Davidson as a young investment banker. He would tell you that he carried the briefcases for the big shot investment bankers. But he was there and he saw that Harley had a community. I explained that we have a community that I was a commercial guy, but we have a big consumer business potential. And we have a community of players. I described, I was at before there was much home-owning pinball, I was at a show for the billiard industry, and this one guy came up, and he showed Charlie, my sales guy, and myself, his back, which he had almost completed the tattoo of the Paragon backlash. And, you know, that kind of thing, you tell David, oh, yeah, you got enthusiasts, you got people who are really into this thing. So they thought about it, and second time he came in with a friend of Doug's, Mike Reimer, who was a big, a consumer sales guy, and really dug into this. And he invested, he lent, and then later changed to invested. He's my partner. I control half the company, he controls half the company. We have a 5-man board of directors. I nominate, elect 2. He nominates, elects 2. The 5th would be a tiebreaker, but we've never appointed the 5th. Because we get along and we build this business together with the help of Seth and the rest of the guys here. Yeah, we had a couple troubles, but we went through them. What we did do, though, I mentioned, the Hobus, and this is why it's not my father's pinball company. It's not my father's pinball company because my father's pinball company sold games to commercial establishments only. Today, 70% of our games worldwide belong to you all, the community, and to first-time buyers, and to people in general. 30% are in the street, in bar arcades, in breweries, which are big in America to have games, in normal bowling alleys, bars, what have you, restaurants, family entertainment centers. Interestingly, Seth points out, and he can tell you these statistics because of Insider Connected, which we'll talk about. 70% of the games are in the home. 70% of the play is in operation on the street. And that play, we have a cycle. I'm digressing all over the place. I do this all the time. I like to hear myself. Don't laugh. You're not supposed to laugh at that side. You're not supposed to laugh at that. 70%, we have a cycle that, the 20-somethings or the teens are playing games in the bars. In our country, you're supposed to be 21, but they all have these phony IDs. I don't know how. They play games in the bars. Like, my daughter had a very bad phony ID. And so my then wife took it outside in the driveway of the house and drove the car back and forth over it so that it would work for her. And my 2 daughters I'm digressing, my 2 daughters must love each other because my older daughter was 21 dyed her hair my younger daughter's color, got a new driver's license, and that was the younger one's phony IDs. And this was also that they could go into different bars and play pinball machines, because that's what nobody drinks for any other reason but to play pinball. So these people playing pinball, who are in the teens and 20s, are, when they're 45, 50, they're going to want to flex for home, or COVID's going to come, they're going to want things to do at home, and somehow they discover, they'll normally say, they still make pinball? Well, they discover that we make pinball. We make 85, 90% of the pinball machines in the world. And they'll buy one for the home. And maybe they'll buy another one. 40, 50% of the people, first-time buyers, will buy a second game. That's what our dealers tell us. And maybe they get 3 or 4 or 5 or as Marcus in Germany's got over 1,000. And sometimes I find they have too many games. So, like the president of our Operators Association, they go to a bowling alley and say, can I put a game in here? And they become a game operator. And those game operators put games out so 20-year-olds can play the games, be interested in them when they're 45, 50. This is just a cycle that goes on. You're part of the cycle. And it's very important to the continuation of pinball that there are places like this, and there are groups like you, and there are first-time buyers, and one of them, I was talking to a airline pilot the other day who had written me, and he had been playing pinball, not ours, gosh, at somebody else's home, and said, I wish I could get one of these. I don't know where you buy them. So not only do people not know not enough people that know that their pinballs are being made, they don't know there's a place they can buy them, and they can. And that's one of our missions, is to show people where they can buy them. This is still the answer to the last question.
I just wanted to know later, not because I'm rude, it's because some people send me some questions before they really want to hear your answer. So.
Well, I'm just going to finish this one. This is important. This is important. Where again, why is this not my father's pinball? Two things. Today's player, the guy who buys that home, 20, 30 years ago bought a game for the home, 45 years old. His kids might have played it. He had a Flex, it was great. I used to watch a TV show called Cribs on TV in America. 3 10-minute segments of rappers, rock stars, whatever. They all had, at least one of them had a pinball machine. He was as proud of it as his Ferrari. I keep trying to get the trade a pinball for a Ferrari. Hasn't worked yet, but I haven't given up. The player today, you all grew up as gamers. 45, 55-year-old. He grew up as a gamer. And they understand it. So the game rules that you're getting today aren't just light A, B, C, the 3 rollers, lanes at the top, light special, and you get an extra ball. There's just whack the ball, whack the Sentinel on X-Men for me, and I get multi-ball. But there's all kinds of rules and gameplay going on in these games. They're very much more sophisticated than the games my father.
When you guys are developing a game, how do you come about laying out the gameplay and then oftentimes license? Do you have to get it approved by the licensor?
Everything's approved by the licensor except the particular rules, how they work. They're not gamers. We're gamers. And Seth is very involved in the current gameplay. I used to be in game rules. I used to be involved in it, but it's way past my understanding.
They care a lot about all the visual representation, right? When it comes to gameplay rules and the gameplay, guys will lay that out. So, the development of these games starts with really a designer kind of coming up with a concept for, this is what I think my playfield is going to look like. These are the toys and the different elements I want to have in that. And then they'll work with the programmer we'll start thinking about the rule sets that are going to go with that, and we'll all kind of work together on that. Licensors get heavily involved in, okay, what next, what toys are you going to have, how are they going to look, do they represent our franchise appropriately? They want to see every little detail of everything you're going to put there, right? Like a good example was in our James Bond game, the Aston Martin car. We actually had to do a deal with Aston Martin on top of a Bond deal. And Aston Martin was commenting on the lines on the car and exactly how they wanted them. So it gets to kind of that level of detail. So like George Gomez will come up and say, I think we should put an Aston Martin here because that makes sense for this franchise. But that was actually 2 licensors had to feed on that one. And so really, Garrett's right. When it comes to the gameplay rules themselves, they don't know much about that. But everything we're going to show on the screen when that happens, so every little speech, every little sound, everything we're going to use to represent that franchise.
Tell us about the eject seat.
Oh, yeah, so on the Aston Martin, we were going to not have a top on the Aston Martin, because why would you want to have this top that had to open and close and deal with all that? You should come up. I said, well, there's a top on the Aston Martin. There has to be a top on the car. So George and team had to actually design that top for the Aston Martin because the licensor wouldn't let us do the ejector seat without a top that opened and closed on the car. So those are the kind of things that come up in development where you're like, okay, didn't think of that. I guess we're gonna have to figure out how to open and close this thing when we shoot a pinball through it.
Not trivial. That wasn't trivial to do.
And then we had to rework the whole vehicle.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time figuring out how to get that, because it's gonna be reliable, right? You can't have that thing breaking and staying shut or breaking and staying open, so you've gotta put it there and you gotta make sure that it's not gonna break.
That being said, so licensed games, I think you guys, I think it was you and Joey that brought them in the 90s that made everything just shoot, the sales go off. That was a new thing.
Actually, my, Tommy Neiman at Valley did the first licensing. And Valley did quite a few licensed games. They did, Evil Knievel, that's when they had to take them off of all that. They made a home game for Sears just about the time Evil Knievel beat the out of somebody with a baseball bat. And Sears said, change all those. But they did a lot of, that's how we ended up with Nugent, Tommy gave it to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys, in the corner.
The Nugent game. Yeah, the Nugent
He's a
game
rock
over on
star
the
in America. Now he's a controversial Republican Michigan.
Yeah, well, that game, oh, this is going to get better. So, Epic Records, We Magazine, which was like Playboy, and we're gonna have the same artwork, that artwork on the album cover and on the magazine cover. And they went to Bally and said, we'd like to get a couple of these made. We can't make a couple of games, but Tommy Neiman said, go to the store, maybe he'll make you a couple of games. I said, okay, I'll make you a couple of games. Actually, I'll make you hundreds or thousands of games. You give me the license, and we'll make this game. And we took a game we were already had designed. And in those days, there weren't video that you had to match, the film and so forth. You could take a game. Gottlieb did this all the time. They would name the game after they designed it. Okay, we've got 7 drop targets. We need a 7-letter name. Well, here you could take the game, whatever game we were designing, and make it Nugent, and we did. And he was great. He came by the factory, took pictures, everything in the factory. I was taking the a back glass of a different game to New York to show Epic Records what a back glass was like, and the flight attendant sort of dropped the glass because she saw somebody that she knew flew with all the time. So the other flight attendant helped me and took care of me. And that other flight attendant is Denise, my second wife. I accuse her of picking me up on the plane, and she accuses me of picking her up. Sometime after that, way after that, and Jody put some Nugent stuff up on our website, and I get within a half an hour a call from my kids. You got to get that Nugent stuff off your website. Because he is really toxic at this point. He's somewhere right up Attila the Hun. And you gotta get it down, gotta get it down. And then there was something recent where they wanted to use him for something set. What was that?
Yeah, we get contacted a lot for movies and TV shows and things like that. And that's actually one of the places where it's trickier with the licensed properties, because we can say, yeah, we're fine with you using the pinball machine, but you want to use Elvira, you got to call Elvira as well, because they still have some rights to that.
That's to place a pinball machine inside of a movie, or?
Yeah, and anything like that.
And you have to approve it.
So we have to approve it, and the licensor has to approve it as well. So they've got to do double approval, so it makes it a little harder. Sometimes when people contact us and say, well, yeah, we're fine with it, you got to go talk to whoever made it, or whoever's IP it is, and sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they'll say, that sounds like too much work.
Now you've done it.
One of the ones I want to do all the time, they often contact the old Stern games. Stern Electronics belong to Denise, so they'll contact me. They always want to do Meteor, and nobody realizes that Meteor is a licensed title. It was a Sean Connery movie. And nobody knows who owns the rights to it anymore either, So, go find out who owns it. I don't know. Nobody can find out.
There was a time in the 90s, I think you did a couple of one-offs. Did you do an Aaron spelling game for a birthday present, perhaps?
Yeah, we made a little mistake. We arted, So, we were making a different game, Lethal Weapon, different story, Lethal Weapon. And the Michael Jordan Foundation wanted a one-off game. So we made a one-off game, and we just for them, and we shouldn't have, but we put it in the Rock and Roll McDonald's just to see what the attraction would be with Michael Jordan, the great American basketball player. And
the Rock and Roll McDonald's is in the center of downtown.
yeah, and Allison was doing the marketing, the testing there, and she turned us into the NBA, the Basketball Association, because we had no license to do that. We didn't have permission, and so they write us a scathing letter, cease and desist, this or that. And so I had our lawyer write back to them. This game was made specifically at Michael Jordan's request for the Michael Jordan Foundation. I'm sure that you, like we, support this very excellent charity. Never heard from them again. What was the other one you mentioned? The spelling. Yeah, Mrs. Spelling wanted to make and Aaron Spelling was a television producer. A lot of the shows that were very popular were his shows. So she wanted a game. We erred in two respects, and this was 25 years ago. And the first error was we charged her $200,000 for one game. We should have charged her $500,000. Didn't matter. The second error was Joe's mistake, not mine. He said she could have the second game at the regular price, $2,700. So we made a couple mistakes. We left a lot of money on the table, but yeah, we did make.
Were you invited to the party?
No, but we're invited to all these Playboy parties. Yeah. Okay. Midsummer Night's Dream is always a pajama party. So I, of course, went with the same costume almost every male had on, which is black silk pajamas. If you're walking around, and I'm sitting there with great food. I'm eating and all that. And the other folks, Joe, the chemical, my associate, and others, they're walking around following the cameraman. Because wherever the cameraman is going, the ladies are going like this. I'm eating. I wasn't smart enough.
What was your favorite license, besides all the ones with the good? Does everybody know what TNA means when you say it before? Right?
It's tits and ass. Tits and ass. TNA, it's a phrase. What is my favorite license? My favorite license is Uncanny X-Men. And this is a fantastic game. Have you all seen everybody seen the video of the game? Anybody who hasn't seen the video of the game? The video that we live stream or what have you, the live stream or the video that we put up? Huh? The 18-minute production? Have you all seen, who hasn't seen it? Just a couple of you. Well, we'll see how much time we got. I can do the short version on the.
But your favorite license is your last one, is that what you're trying to tell us? Okay, got it. Who buys your licenses then? Makes a decision.
So
Oh, yeah.
whoever bought one Stern game, who's seen it? So.
Thank you.
So one, more than two. More than 10. More than 20. So, more than 30?
Thank you.
Awesome. Gary Stern, what I'm always proud of, if there's a new game coming out and the standard high scores are there, I'm always on top because I have the same initials. You're right. So that's good. When the guys are going to play, I'm off there, but I can take over your job. It's easy.
Okay, well, I'll keep going with questions. One of the questions I did get from Misha in the room was when you're going to do the cabinet design of pinball machines still looks like a coffin. It has ever since they came out. Why is there a limitation, for example? I think the question revolved around Pinball 2000, which I know was a Williams game, but it was a Gomez game, and you guys had them on your staff. They tried to change up the look and feel of the game. It wasn't a huge success. Why is the game, why do pinball machines still maintain the same cabinet shape?
Two issues to it. One is the playfield size, and the other is the look of the cabinet. We have, over the years, you've got wedge heads here, we've had the metal curved back box. Our back box operates significantly different the way that it locks down today. The cabinet size is somewhat dictated by the underlying cabinet, by the size of the playfield. Pinball's a sport. You know, it's a ball and bat game. So again, wide body games play too slow. Every time somebody tries to make wide bodies, it's an indication there's either trouble in the business or they don't understand the business. It's a tennis court. You don't make round tennis courts or round playfields. Having said that, the construction is similar. It's tongue and groove plywood cabinet, got to be strong. Some look can change without changing the feel. Because part of the feel, part of the play of that game is the feel of the cabinet, the feel of the legs. The construction and some of the look. They change sometimes.
And we've been experimenting with that a little bit. We have the home edition games that are slightly different, which somebody may have seen. We're selling those in Costco in the US to get to first-time buyers that may be not familiar with our pro edition games and don't know where to get them. Because we keep getting that comment, people don't necessarily always know where to buy the product. So we have the ability to experiment with new things, and as Gary said, we're going to continue to look at, these games were designed for commercial environments. We always want them to be commercial grade. But a lot of these are going into your homes, and they're not always the easiest things to deal with. They don't necessarily have all the bells and whistles you'd like them to have. So we continue to look at all the elements of the game and say, what is part of pinball and what is an artifact of the commercial origin of these games that maybe needs a user experience improvement. One of my favorites is that with a home edition game, I said, you can't sell this home edition to people that don't even know pinball until the first thing they have to do is take the glass off the machine and get the balls in the game. So there's actually on that machine, there's a little hole in the back that, where you can drop the balls in before you put the head up, so that you don't have to actually tell these brand new pinball folks, I need you to slide a piece of glass off this machine. Now, that's something that once I challenged the team on, how can we do this and make it a little easier, there's a way to do it, and there's not really any reason why we can't do that on our commercial grade machines as well. So some of the things we learned from that experience will probably make their way back over. We've also made it a lot easier to connect your machine online, which is, as you guys probably know, super annoying with the little buttons inside to try to type in a Wi-Fi password. So there's a lot of stuff like that where just because we've always used two little buttons inside doesn't mean that that's what we need to do forever. We need to look at what we can change.
Connect your machine online. Thank you. Insider Connected. Let me give you a little story here. My partner and I went to an investment bankers meeting that they wanted us to go to. It was speed dating for lenders or investors. Every product they were interested in had connectivity. I start my car with my telephone. My new washer dryer is sending me text messages to my telephone. I really don't want to communicate with my new washer dryer, but it wants to communicate with me. Everything you do today is connected. Anything that is not connected does not really have a future. Okay, collecting older games, great. Here, great. But as far as using them and the play of them, if it's not connected, it's a box on four legs is the way that I say it. Why any operator, or for that matter, most homeowners, buy anything that's not connected, I don't understand. And that sounds arrogant on my part, but I really believe and invested millions of dollars in this. It adds to the gameplay, the things you can do in the cloud. It's based on Xbox Live, and I talked earlier that you all are gamers, whereas the 50-year-old 30 years ago wasn't a gamer, was buying a Flex. People understand this. They know this. They expect to get badges, and there's more you can do. The top, the toppers, the connectivity. All this adds another element to gameplay. And without that, it's a box on four legs.
He knows more than I do.
Yeah, so we're continuing to upgrade and update Insider Connected based on what we hear from people and the feedback, and it's been amazing. We saw the greatest play we've ever seen on machines worldwide in this past August. It just keeps going up and up and up. That's why we're running more and more quests and badges and other things for people to play, because it gets everybody out to play and gets everybody playing with all these games and all these experiences. The month Marvel that we had quests on Venom, we had quests on Deadpool, and then we culminated with the X-Men announce. That was the highest play we've ever seen, just kind of on those. So with Insider Connected, we're going to continue to make updates and changes. You'll see a UI update coming pretty soon, and hopefully make the pinball easier for you all to use. And we're just going to continue to do that. So make sure you tell us the kind of things you want to see and what you want. I will say we have a backlog list from the community of millions and millions of things, and Doug and Lloyd are always bringing up things that Europe wants for the games as well. So.
I have a follow-up to that.
To his point, one of the things that is exceptionally popular right now, you have here is a leaderboard. Well, that was way down on our list of things to develop. We took it to Pinball Expo, we took it to IAPA. Enthusiasts wanted it. IAPA in the US and a month later in November. Operators wanted it, so we changed our schedule in order to bring it forward sooner. And so that became one of the most important, endeavors we had. One other thing is that we had a Valentine's Day badge, and you had to play with somebody. So I'm in Vail, and I go find myself a game to play. I didn't know you had to play with somebody, so I played the game. Well, there was nobody around. I didn't know I could have played the second player myself, just not registered. So I didn't get the badge, because I didn't know.
And this was, by the way, was the Gary Stern badge. So Gary Stern the Gary Stern Valentine's Day badge. And I had to be the one to break it to him that he could have just pretended to be a player too.
Another question, and then a commercial question, and then we're going to switch to some main questions from the people. Recently I saw on LinkedIn that you guys are promoting a corporate rental program. And that was, and I can say that here in Europe, many companies are faced with the challenge of people who work remotely during COVID, now they don't want to go back to the office. And of course, it's cool that you can get a pinball machine in, that will spark kind of some sort of community in the office. Is there a way to use your insider connected across a simple, inter-company tournament? So if you had the same game in several different locations of a company, they could run it?
Yeah, so we have some, we didn't put it on there when we posted online, but we have some Google offices in the US, so that's the kind of companies that we're partnering with and getting involved with. So like you said, people want to get folks back to the office, they also want to be able to play games with each other, they want to have a fun time when they're out in the office, and I can think of a better thing to do that with than pinball, because it's nice and physical.
McDonald's locations, like together.
Yeah, physical and out there as well. With Insider Connected, you can do leaderboards and all of that, and we're hoping to be able to. Yeah, right now we don't have explicit group functionality, but it's something we're going to look at doing in the future. But as the corporates take off, then it makes sense that they would want to play office versus office. So actually, we have some in a couple of different Google offices, and they're competing against each other on the leaderboard.
Okay, can I get some questions from people here? Or do you want to ask a question?
First, what I always say is, students don't talk about future games and don't talk about production numbers. So if you have a question about that, but working from the left to the right.
Thank you all very much for being here with us. It's much appreciated. I have a question about innovation maybe for itself. We need to innovate in this business also in terms of gameplay, in terms of mechanics that you integrate. But then of course, yeah, we both all know Italian bottoms are great at work. And you should build on this expertise, you should build on this knowledge. Yeah, we want to see innovation, we want to take dangerous mistakes. So how do you organize a company to be open for crazy ideas from innovative designers while building your own good practice?
Yeah, so we have with a number of individual design teams led by designers, and they have a lot of freedom in the early days. I mean, you guys probably have a question. We haven't talked a lot about sort of selecting IP, and we're happy to talk about that if you guys want to know about it. But we do select the IP pretty early on because, like Gary talked about, we're no longer in the days of you design a game and then you will find an IP to put on it. We're designing from the ground up to match the property or the franchise that we're working on. And so from that time, it's really given to the designer and said, think of all the crazy thoughts you can think of. Think of all these things. And we want them to think outside the box and try new things. That's always part of the process. There's tons of stuff that, just like with a movie or anything else, hits the cutting room floor along the way because they come up with all sorts of ideas. But there's also some controls on them for, you have a timeline you have to hit, so you can only think grand thoughts for so long before the train needs to leave the station and move forward. And then the other thing is they know the crazier the idea is, the more they're going to have to sell and convince and prototype what they're doing to show it off. So even on the X-Men title in particular, Jack has joked a little bit, and it was true that, oh, Gary's not going to like that, Gary's not going to like that, Gary's not going to let you do that, by the way. He proved it, and Gary let him do it. And so the designer's got to be able to demonstrate and have the conviction of their idea for what they want to do. But that's how you get innovation, and that's how you get new things. And sort of based on the reception of that, you'll see more innovation in those different directions there. But if we gave you a different bottom every time on every game, after a while you'd be like, these are crazy, this one doesn't make sense. So it's a very happy balance to find that balance between trying something new, but also making sure people recognize it as pinball and still love it. So that's really how we do it with the teams. They get to kind of think the thoughts, and then we try to figure out how we get it done.
to different bottoms. You know, X-Men, I'm going to call a very modified Italian bottom. I mean, it's a modified Italian bottom. Yeah. No, what you do is you go on a 2-day Harley ride with me. That's what Jack did with John. I think it was Wheel of Fortune had the goofy bottom, and Armand from France just called me and said, "You know better. You know better than to do that." And yeah, I did, and it wasn't right. But where's Allison? Is she left? Did she get the reporter? Are you in the back? Allison, where are you? Allison, are you back there? Downstairs playing games. Seth, or eating herring maybe. I'm almost done with mine. Seth's wife is Allison is here. You should all say hello. She's humoring us by coming along.
Any other questions? Here? And you're going to ask a question while videotaping. Yeah, come on. There you go.
Okay, so pinball is now all about licensed IP, because if you don't have licensed IP, you're struggling. Seminar pinball. But also, I mean, when you guys pick up licensing as data East, you were, well, one of 2 companies that were doing it. Now we have 50 pinball companies going after IP. How has the licensing market for pinball changed, and how do you deal with competitors that are going after the same license as you are?
Before we answer that, American Pinball is not suffering because they don't have licenses, or they had licenses, or this or that, or the quality of the games. What they don't have is Insider Connected. And any game that does not have Insider Connected is dealing in the past. We're dealing in the future with technology. Can you put up one more time our, right from the beginning, how do we get back to the beginning? Here we go. You see, technology, it's all about technology. Oh, you had the end too, okay. He knows, we're talking, I can't read it in those colors. That's not no, that's an old one. There we go. That's an old one when we talk about ourselves being a lifestyle brand like Harley. But we're really much more than a lifestyle brand. We're a game company. And the game company technologically advanced pinball. Insider Connected, new devices, new game worlds, all that's connected. But it's connected. It's got to be Insider Connected. I believe so much that I'm more excited about the future of pinball than I've been in my 79 years. And it's all because of Insider Connected. This is a future, and it will broaden, enlarge our community. Good for my business, but good for all of us.
Did you answer the question?
Yeah, no, we'll answer the question.
So Dutch.
More pinball companies do a couple of things. One, it demonstrates that pinball is really getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. So it's great to have more pinball companies around now. More pinball companies do create noise in the licensing marketplace, particularly ones that are out over their skis trying to get bigger than they actually are. But licensors are pretty smart. It takes them about 5 seconds to figure out who they should really be working with. And so, we have lots of options there. And I'm glad that some of these other companies and IP are able to get games made for themselves that might not be, they might not be big enough for us to make. There's some IP that, you could do some number of pinball machines with, but it won't be kind of at the size and scope of the stuff we're doing. So that's good for both the IP holder and for those companies as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're focused on stuff that can sell here in Europe, that can sell in the US, that can sell in Australia, that can sell everywhere. And you kind of sell in all the different places, whereas other companies have different focuses.
Did you say Rush? Rush, we don't know the band.
No, you don't know the band, but it's great music and it did something very interesting. I talk about,
He's speaking about Rush.
yeah, the Rush Pinball. Yeah, and which is a very good game, and a very good band, and friends of ours, friends of our friends. It did something that we don't get to happen often. We talk about 3 legs of our stool operators, which means really players in the bar, arcades, and what have you. We talk about casual buyers, first-time rec room buyers, people who just want a game. We talk about enthusiasts, community like you all. There's a 4th leg to the stool that we strive to get, and that is to interest new people in pinball who are interested in the underlying IP, the theme, the title. We got a lot of Rush buyers. Rush people, enthusiasts, people wild for the Rush band. We got a lot of new people into pinball with that title, and we would hope that we can do that with many of our titles. Some have worked, some haven't.
Next question here.
Yeah, as 70% of the machine goes to home, why does it take so long to bring scoreboarding to home environment?
Yeah, we know that is something that people want. That is something that we are working on. Leaderboards in commercial locations get a ton of usage, whereas leaderboards in home locations would get a lot less usage for a lot more people and a lot more volume. So it's a little bit tied to our infrastructure and a little bit tied to sort of the costs associated with scaling all that up for that. So we have heard it and we are working on it.
Yeah, I know because I talked to George now and then, and he said that for a long time, but it sounds a bit strange that you have a connected machine and you have to manually type your scores in a third-party tool, where you have the machine room turning, the software room turning, and inside the connection turn. So, yeah, it sounds a bit strange.
Congratulations, you made it.
The game already has its own individual.
If you have a lot of turns and
No, I mean, if you have a lot of stern, you're right. But there's infrastructure, it's not as simple as doing it. Listen to him.
Really development. Here we go.
When developing Inside and Connected, I know George worked quite a few years on the problem behind the machines. But how much data does it use? Do you have your own data center for the traffic it generates?
I'm sorry, the question's around the use of the data?
Yeah, the data that it generates. Do you have your own data center to facilitate the gigabytes that's going through?
So, I mean, we use, like a lot of companies, we use cloud providers. We use an AWS to house all the data for Insider Connected. And then we've been developing, trying to understand what that data can tell us about players, gameplay, feedback, and all of that. You know, those are things you can't build them before you have the data. You have to wait till you start to have the data, and then honestly, and then you spend some time figuring out what should I be looking for in this pile of data. So I would say we have a pile of information now, and one of the big things that we're working on now, and we've been adding to the team in terms of like data science, to just say, how do I get that information in a place where I can use it? How do I parse through it and find what is interesting and useful there? So we have some early reporting, but over time, I think it's going to give the design teams even more information about, you know, how people are playing, what their experience is, how they're using it, and allow us to make better games.
maybe it sounds like a long time, it's a very short time. This is 3 years old, starting with Godzilla. They've come a long way, gotten a lot done. There's a long way to go, a lot of suggestions from you all. We have hundreds of thousands of players signed up for Insider Connected. Okay, Xbox Live has more than we do, but we're growing at a significant rate, and that's what will get him the data that he can figure out what to do with having more people connected, and so it's very important, connect all your games. We also have about 100,000 machines that can be connected out in the field right now. We'll have more. We add significant to it each year, all of our LCD games. And again, we're going to lead this because we're the only ones who can do this, not just investing millions of dollars, which we have. And again, after I went to that meeting, I was ready to invest the money. But we believe we're the only company that will ever have the scale for it to be meaningful. And again, bragging or whatever, or being arrogant, but you gotta have scale to do this, for him to get enough information, for you to get enough feedback. We've got 100,000 growing at tens of thousands a year, games that could be part of this, many of which are part of this already.
And we're always very happy to hear that we're not moving fast enough, because we never are. On things like home leaderboards and all of that. This is an exercise of figuring out, we got operators screaming for more functionality, we got home users screaming for more functionality, we've got desires around making the games better. And I think this is one of the reasons why Darius is so excited about what's to come, because now it's a matter of saying, we gotta use this and we gotta move faster, because there's so much more that can be done with this than what we've already been able to.
Okay, next question over here.
Thank you. My name is Piet Noorlander. I'm a pinball operator for 45 years. It's not nothing.
Thank you.
Yes, I have the simplest question of this evening. Nothing to do with data or connections or whatever. The simplest question, but it's a multi-million-dollar question. And you're doing right, but the question is very simple. I was operating machines for 45 years, and the question is, why did Bally and Gottlieb miss the switch to the sharp flippers? They used to have for 20 years the blunt flippers, and all my clients were saying, it's a lovely pinball, but we missed the sharp flippers. Why did the company of Gottlieb and Bally, why did they miss that important question?
I'm going to take this, because Seth wasn't around. I don't know. Were you even alive? Yeah. Let's take them separately. Gottlieb, at one time, was the Cadillac of games. The electromechanicals, what have you. They were late in solid state, and they were wrong in solid state. They did a 4-bit instead of an 8-bit processor in those days. And their games didn't play, they earned long, so it was good. In the earlier days, they didn't play as the player wanted them. When we started Day's Pinball, we brought in Bally games, Williams games. We didn't even bother to bring in any Gottlieb games. They weren't of the right gameplay. They were, if you remember, 24 instead of 48 volt coils, things like that. As to Bally and Williams, well, Bally sold to Williams in 99. No, 89. 89. It was 99 when Bally Williams got out of pinball, which made P2K a misnomer because it didn't make it to 2000. But if you look at Williams, which was my father's company, Williams, think of it as a jukebox company. You say a jukebox company. It came Seaberg bought Williams in 1964. And the Nicastros who ran Williams were very good business people in their own way. They teach you in business school to be in love with business, not be in love with your business. I'm in love with my business, so I violate the rule. Williams, Seaberg bought Williams. Williams, when pinballs were more important, Seaberg Williams became a pinball company instead of a jukebox company. They later became Midway, a video game company, then a home video game company, then a slot machine company, which now belongs to Scientific Games. They changed the company to where the business was going. It didn't make sense for them to stay in pinball. They tried, and when I bought the company from Sega, I told them Williams is going to get out. This was '99. I said they're getting out of the pinball business because public companies filed documents with the Security and Exchange Commission, and it shows profits per category. And you can see that in a depressed market, they had to make 25,000 games a year to break even. They weren't going to do it. They were going to lose money in it. But in slot machines, you carry a public company with slot machines. I ran Seaberg had a slot machine program in the 70s, and the reason we had it is Lou Nicastro wanted the stock multiple that Valley had as a slot machine company, so he decided to go with slot machines. Well, the second generation, second time going slot machines worked. So they got out. They went into the business. It made sense. They moved it from a jukebox to a pinball to a home coin-op to a home video game company to a slot machine company. That's why both those companies aren't in it. I had nowhere else to go. I needed a job. There weren't a lot of jobs for presidents of pinball companies, and we were tenacious, and we stuck with it. I told Sega when I was buying it from them, they're going to get out of this. But to Sega, they were a $4 billion a year company. What did we need? Not enough.
So
I hope that answered your question.
I'd like to wrap a little bit here,
I have one more question.
Oh, yes, sorry. What do you want to point here? One question. How technical is it?
No, not technical.
Yay!
Hi. I've been to pinball since forever. I really like pinball. I'm trying to get my girlfriend more into pinball. Most of the swing machines are really masculine. Oh, 7 times, maybe except for Deadpool, she really likes this machine. Are there any plans on something more Barbie-like to attract also the female players? You can do it.
Yeah, I'll take that one and I'll answer the question. We get it a lot and everybody likes to know. It's kind of a fun question about sort of where do IP choices come from and how do we choose IP. So one of the things is sort of from you all, right? Conversations online, feedback we receive from you. We run surveys and research as well to find out what you are all interested in. Lists from influencer outlets and things like that. We follow all of that. We see what people are asking for, and we follow that information. Another piece comes from licensors, right? Not everything we want to make is available. Some of the stuff that we don't make. Arcade machines. A lot of folks still consider us arcade machines, even though we have a big home presence as well. Some IP just don't want to do it. Some really popular actors just don't want to be in consumer products, right? This is a consumer-oriented product. So whatever's available on that side. And then expertise from the team internally, right? Are the designers excited to make a game about it? Do they have ideas of things they'd like to make? What do we think from a business standpoint? John and team get to feed in on a sales standpoint, what they think they can sell and what opportunities are there. So we kind of all get together and go through that. So another piece of that consideration is trying to balance the portfolio, right? Balance the portfolio with enough stuff that hits right at the core of our market and take some shots on some things that will help us hopefully expand the market. And so we're looking at, how does gender diversity, other diversity play in? We'd like to expand the market of pinball. We'd like it to be for everyone. But we also can't afford to alienate the current people that buy the pinball machine. You got to find something that gets enough new people without all of the current people saying, well, that's not for me and I'm not interested.
Right,
So
sweet
that's
spot.
really the trick for us. We do a lot of things that have like ensemble casts and we'll play up certain characters and things like that. But we're dying for an opportunity that we have succeeded if we're in a place in pinball where we can make a female-oriented title that blows the doors off, in the pinball marketplace as well. Because that means we've expanded the pie so much that we've brought everybody into it. And that's what we want to do over time.
Thanks.
Two comments to that. You all probably have read about or have your own Bells and Chimes, which are a group of ladies that compete. We're finding more and more women playing pinball. His statistics from Insider Connected will tell you there are more and more women. Another point is to properly do a more feminine or woman's title, you really need input from a female designer. We have now a rules software designer that is developed with us. She is taking first seat in the software, and we are developing the people who could do this. For a bunch of guys to develop a woman's game, if you would, it doesn't read right. It just doesn't read right. We need people who can see the other side, whatever that is. It's certainly not me. So we're developing that. Patience is a virtue. We're going to get there. We really have this as a goal. And likewise, other ethnic groups. We need to expand our player community. The United States is a very mixed. There's one bar, arcade in particular, I go to, the Emporium over in the Logan Square area, and you go in there, and it's very cool. It is truly an ethnically mixed environment, and it's great to see all different groups playing pinball instead of back in the day, white male. What can I say? We don't want that.
So to wrap this up, just was okay? Yeah. To wrap it up a little, I'd just like to say, on behalf of most of the people that are here, you were
Well, I
both.
got one more thing he's got to talk about.
This is not Insider Connected. Not Insider Connected. Tell them about the warranty.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, I mentioned that we're trying to revisit things like in what ways does the history of being a commercial business help us, and in what ways does it get in our way right now? One of the ways that gets in our way is things like the warranty, right? We haven't had an official warranty for a long time. The reality is, you call Pat, he'll take care of you, but for new buyers say, well, what's the warranty? Where's my warranty? And I can't say, well, you just got to know about Pat, you got to call Pat. That's not a good enough answer. So we've now added an official, warranty to our products that goes out to everybody, so that new buyers can feel confident. Because one of the things we knew, but we've learned more and more as we've done research, is that the first-time buyer needs, frankly, some of you all in this room to help them. They need a buddy who's got their back. Because the worst thing you could do is buy a pinball machine and not have it work sometime after you buy it, and then it sits there not working. So people need to know they're being taken care of either by a friend or by the company. And so we've added a warranty. You guys should all feel comfortable that you're going to get taken care of, and you guys all know how to find Pat. And if you don't, we'll tell you how to find him, and we'll take care of you. And so we're going to have a warranty on all of our products going forward. And it's just something we probably should have done a while ago. We've been taking care of people. We're going to officially do it and help promote it. So.
Is it on the website? Is that what
It
you
is.
put on the
It is. Gary's going on the website. It's on the website. So it's there. With all the legalese. Gary's a lawyer, so, I'd like to say reformed lawyer, but all the legalese is there on the website, so you guys can look it up yourselves as well. But, it's every game. If you buy it, since we launched X-Men, so it's basically all the games going back. Any game bought within the last year or bought in the future will.
Okay. Any other points you want to sneak in before we close?
X-Men. I was in, I semi-retired, shall we say. I live in Vail, and I live in Chicago. So I was in Vail the other day, I still have the Foo Fighters in my price. Small apartment, I don't live in a big place, so I have Foo Fighters at home. These guys all have Godzillas and things like that, because Godzilla's, a great game. I have figured out, I have workmen coming, I've figured out how to rearrange my lower bedroom, my second bedroom in Vale, to put an X-Men, Uncanny X-Men in it. This game is great. Now my 7-year-old granddaughter plays pinball, loves to go to AC Gochi, which is a Korean barbecue in Van Nuys, California. She goes there with me because we eat for free, he won't let me pay. But they've got a bunch of games and she just loves to play pinball. She'll go there. She has 2 pinball machines, or her mother and father have 2, I don't know, I guess they're hers. I've got to put a game in my Vale apartment, and it's going to be X-Men, and I've figured out how to do it.
You guys don't know. Yeah, this is the first time Gary has figured out how to put a game in this apartment. So this is a game that's going to Gary figuring out how he's going to get it in this apartment. So I'll tell you a little bit about what we sort of think about the game. If any of you are able to sneak into IAPA this week up in Amsterdam, we'll be there demoing the game. So you'll get a chance to play. But this is it's a pretty special game.
I'm going to pick it up Thursday.
Or you play here.
And Gary, which version those be?
I used to take pros home because I wanted to learn them, because I was selling operators. My Foo Fighters are premium, this will be a premium.
At least.
It'll be, no, not an LE, it's a premium.
Okay, so I'm gonna say what.
Yeah, this, my partner and I own all the #1 premium LEs, guys. We own them.
I just want to say, you were born into this industry. I mean, you didn't really, well, you had choices to do other things, but I'm, for a whole life and a legacy of what you've contributed to pinball, how you didn't stop production when all the other guys were saying that the industry was dead, and what you've contributed is beyond words. And thank you for coming here to share your stories and to come to the Dutch Pinball Museum. We owe you a debt of gratitude, so I just want to say thank you on behalf of a lot of people for that.
And we all owe you all a debt of gratitude. You're the community. You're the ones who let us do this. We have fun. They're not hard lung machines. We're having a good time. We're making fun. As long as you're having fun, we're having fun.
Give Gary a gift, wooden clocks. That's a present, but I got another present. Pinball, we call it Americana. And something others that's really Americana is sports. And if you are a champion in a certain kind of sports, it will always be rewarded. So what did I think of? I get you a championship ring. So, if we can do it fast, we can give you the opportunity to get your picture with Gary. Group photo.
Picture, yes, of all of you.
Yes.
Please.
But for later, you have to sign this. Instagrammable. Look. Put it over here if you have the opportunity. Make it quick because I think I'm really
Let's take a big picture of all of us. Doug, we need to get in it here.
Yes.
And we have one more thing to do. Wait a minute, before you take the picture. Would you turn that back on for a second? I'd like your help, please. I said this when we started. I am consistent. I'm not doing that. Some people say that's horrible. Oh, it's not gonna come back for us. It's coming. My fault, I should have done it. Because you all are gonna help me with this. When we get it. Well, maybe we'll take a picture first. We'll take the picture while technology. See, inside connected works great. We'll get the picture. How are we doing this?
Gary, come in front of this.
No, there's a whole group. I need a group picture. Group picture. You want to get everything? Okay, just a picture with me. All the people. All the people. Okay.
Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. One more time. Okay.
Of course there's more. Doug will take thousands of pictures. All right, everybody, real quick here. With your help, everybody, your hands in front so we can't have it. Stern vision to create compelling entertainment that inspires a lifetime love of games, sparks passion, forges friendship, and connects people everywhere through fun, innovative, technologically advanced pinball games and experiences. Technology and games.
Oh my God.
Let you all enjoy it.
So you can stand here and have a photo if you'd like, with your wonderful Instagram frame. Other than that, the games are open. All right, so
I'd be happy to sign it. Hold my sign there.
I'm de half uur filmen, hè. Laat maar uit.
Ik heb het gevoel. Hele goede. Come on, you gotta hold this up with me.
That's good. Get everyone ready. We're a soul out of money.
By the way, I ate all my hair out. It was great. It was great.
Oh, ik zat met mijn ouders. Tuurlijk, dat werd toch wel.
Zo leuk.
Great.
meer plaats voor 3 mensen wat meer.
Helft met vlak aan vastpakken.
Yeah, let it show. That's good. That's nice.
Ja. Wil je er eentje bij komen? Ja. Nee, Williams is er niet bij, maar het zou dus nog wel vakgroot zijn. Williams door Sturmaat is. Hij heeft een beetje
Done with my home.
Heb jij iets moeten laten zien? Ja, ik ben bij
Would you like activity with a herring?
Just to hold it.
Just like this.
Oh, okay, let's go.
You hold it. You hold it. And I hold it.
Yeah, hold it up.
So.
That's funny.
It's a little bit blurry.
I've got a napkin too. Oh.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Nintendo is gone. Nintendo just says, I won't do arcade.
Oh ja, dat is omdat ik met de hand eraan. Maar dan kan je daarmee sturen, toch? Nou ja, vandaag vond ik het leuk.
En ook lekker.
Ik ga even die andere aardigjes afsnijden. Oh ja, maar ik heb geen hapjes. Nou, ik ga een beetje... Ik ga het afsnijden en dan staan ze allemaal mee.